everyone. I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you had a safe New Year's. Many people didn't. I know I didn't. And we need to talk about mental health. Late last night, early this morning, there was an attack on Bourbon Street in New Orleans. The street was crowded with hundreds of people. And evidently the person who mowed down and killed at least 10 people, injuring who knows how many others, was shot and killed. They said that the suspect is Samsud Din Jabbar, 42 years old, and he lived in Houston, Texas. He served as a resource specialist in the U.S. military for 10 years. He worked in IT. Yeah, it was a rotten New Year's for me. My daughter told me I have 30 days to move out after I found some more things that were stolen from me. Her boyfriend, who has been stealing all my things, she's complicit in what he steals because she gets to use what he steals. Put my toolbox outside on the front porch, 3 toolboxes, along with my solar panels. Their way of telling me they want me to move out there. Putting some of my things out on the front porch. I opened them up yesterday and found that they were all empty. They were so full of tools, I could hardly even get the lids shut, and they weighed a ton. All 3 were large. I told my daughter that they were empty and took them in there and opened the lids and showed him that they were empty, and she covered for him in denial, saying that someone probably came into the house and took the tools out. And I told her that was a bold-faced lie, because why would someone just take the tools out of the toolbox and not just take the entire toolboxes, all 3 of them? I'm probably partially to blame with her behavior. I've done so much for her. You know, I babysit the kids. This week, the day after Christmas, I was alone here with the children, an 8-year-old, a 4-year-old, and my grandson also, who is now 15. They didn't even, of course, tell me that they were leaving and I would be here by myself with them. And later that afternoon, the 2 girls got into a fight, and the 4-year-old was pounding on the glass sliding shower door with a toy. And yeah, I had to go in there and intervene. And later, the 4-year-old apologized to me for talking back and told me that she wasn't going to stop pounding on the door. I have given her lots of money. I have paid her mortgage twice besides free babysitting. I have paid her power bill twice in full, which was probably over $400. I have paid for her phone. I provide her with her cell phone for 16 years now. She has lived with me her entire life up until about maybe 9 years ago, when her and her boyfriend, she bought the trailer from my son. Her boyfriend was cooking meth in the garage. Just like now, he had locks on all the doors. Right now, he has locks going down into the basement. No one's allowed in the basement. He has a lock on the outside garage doors. And I've talked about how I am not allowed in the basement, even to do laundry. But he was making meth in the garage there at the trailer. The children were taken away for a month. She evidently was buying him the medication to make the methamphetamine. My son, who still owned the trailer there making payments to him, wanted to kick her out. And I called him up and crying and told him that he can't kick her out because of the grandkids. And he did what I asked. He didn't want to do that. He wanted to kick her out, and I probably shouldn't have interfered. I probably should have allowed him to evict her. What they call tough love, and she was complicit in supporting his habit. So ever since they moved into the trailer, he has had a few jobs, maybe only lasting a month at a time. Has been constantly fired. He's now currently working part-time at the city dump at the recycling center. So I don't expect him to keep a job. And there's been some strange smells here in the house. like urine or ammonia. And then one night, 2 nights ago, the house was filled with the smell of paint, like in the spray cans. So besides using methamphetamine, I don't know. I wonder if he's huffing now. That's what they call it when they breathe in the paint fumes. I told you guys how some of the things that were stolen were very expensive. And she actually wrote me a letter, a note saying that she was going to replace what had been stolen, which was my radiation detector, my night vision binoculars. It also recorded infrared and night vision, a digital scale. Well, if you're making drugs and selling drugs, you need a digital scale, and some binoculars. And she says she's going to pay me back or replace it when she gets her income tax return. So she knows either she stole the stuff or her boyfriend stole the stuff, but she admitted right here that these items, along with probably thousands of dollars of other items, have been stolen. Last night he replaced some of the tools that I mentioned were stolen. Not all of them. She told me that she wants me to make a list of what's missing. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. Like I said, they were so full that I couldn't even get the lid hardly closed. So this is what he did give back to me. Not all of it, but yeah, yesterday she told me, gave me a handwritten letter that she wants me out in 30 days. Yeah, the socket set, the extensions, a battery tester, yeah, they're all still moving. So she told me to write a list. I told you guys how I sat with her for almost a full week, day and night, at the hospital after her headaches that she had been having before that turned out to be a brain infection, meningitis. Before that, I had taken her to the hospital 2 or 3 times, about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Her boyfriend was here, but she didn't wake him up to take her to the emergency room because of the pain. She had me drive her to the emergency room. This is really embarrassing, and I shouldn't be embarrassed talking about if you have a loved one who is using or addicted to substance abuse or has mental problems. Many refuse that they have a problem. Many refuse help, but they do get help. You know, they often relapse and promise never to do it again. Almost 21 million Americans have at least one addiction, yet only 10% of them receive treatment. My daughter's boyfriend is an alcoholic and a drug abuser besides the methamphetamine. He also grows and buys marijuana at the local dispensary. I don't know how he got the medical marijuana card. He got it from the reservation. And he's not Native American. But addiction doesn't just affect the addict. It can be devastating for the entire family. The financial, emotional, and physical burden of dealing with someone that has an addiction could overwhelm anyone. If you have a loved one that is in active addiction or early recovery, it is essential that you take care of yourself. And I hope some of the things that I went through might help someone else, because I have done tough love. I am currently in the process of tough love. Like I said, I bought my daughter's phone. I've been paying for it for 16 years. And last night I had the phone turned off. I also get Social Security, and she gets Social Security for my grandson. But she doesn't tell Social Security that I've been paying her bills or buying the food. So I'm going to go down to Social Security and notify them that I've been here since June 1st. And I don't know if they'll do anything about it, but because I'm living here, she would be ineligible to collect Social Security for my grandson. She doesn't use the money that often for my grandson. She buys toys for the other 2 children, which are her boyfriend's children, the other 2. My grandson, the one that's 15, he has a different father, and Yeah, he's got mental problems too. An example, he went and parked his car at the local police department and called them and tried to commit suicide with a drug overdose. Parents often think they're helping their child by supporting them, like I did. Paying their bills, paying the mortgage, keeping a roof over their head, begging my son not to evict her after they got caught with drugs, producing drugs, making methamphetamine. This wasn't the first time. The last time, maybe 2 years ago, he started doing it again, and he did it in the backyard of his mother's house by her garage. That was what I was told, and he was arrested. He's been arrested 3 times for making drugs. Looking back, I probably should have never begged my son not to evict my daughter and my grandchildren from their home after she was being investigated for buying the chemicals to make her boyfriend's drugs. I should have never done that. Many parents hold off taking action because getting help because they feel like what they do is dangerous. I didn't want my daughter and my grandchildren to end up homeless. Many people say that addiction is a disease, but that does not mean you should allow anything goes policy, especially if you have children. Your partner or loved one must agree to set a set of rules to keep them and your family safe. I can't get down into the basement. I can't get out in the garage to see if he's cooking meth again, and I worry about an explosion. So us as parents must enforce the consequences. I warned my daughter over and over when she was threatening to kick me out that if she did that, I would turn off her phone and I would turn her into Social Security for fraud, for not notifying Social Security that she had that extra income, that I was paying all her bills, or just about all her bills. Enabling her and her enabling her boyfriend only perpetuated the problem and may prevent the addict from understanding how unacceptable their behavior is. She's letting them know that it's okay to be a drug addict, to make drugs, and don't even think about the children. Myself and my 4 cats are often told to go back to my bedroom and stay there. They have access to the heat downstairs and which direction that the furnace would channel the heat. This is the temperature in my room, 60 degrees, a little chilly. Myself and my 4 cats are banned to this very small bedroom. Yesterday she threatened to push me down the stairs. I don't have the money to move. I've spent it all on her. The tree removal, the paying her mortgage, the power bill, her phone, the food that I have bought, the cases of food that I brought with me. I had my daughter go downstairs, I'm surprised she did, and take pictures of the boxes of food that are downstairs that I brought with me that they are eating. Parents often think that they're helping their child by supporting them, but experts say that safety net may be actually hurting them. Unconsciously, you're supporting the addiction of your son or daughter or loved one. Many parents hold off taking action or getting help because they feel like anything they do could have some dangerous consequences. Psychologists advise that the time to use tough love approach is when the person is ignoring you. When you have to say, we love you very much, but we're not going to spend money, so you can go buy drugs and end up in a worse predicament. So it means no money, no car, no food, no shelter, because ultimately those are the things that can be converted into drugs. I think that's where a lot of my stuff that ended up being stolen ended up at, traded or sold for drugs. Dr. Sachs, one of the psychologists, stressed that cutting off financial support is not by itself treatment and won't fix the problem, but it is a first step towards moving that addicted individual towards reality. The goal is to make it clear you will support them in getting treatment, but you will no longer support them in continuing the use of drugs and alcohol. You can offer to help them choose the right treatment center and offer, if you're financially able to, pay for the treatment. Well, I'm not. I'm flat butt broke. I don't have the money to move. My daughter has made it very clear that she's not going to help me move out, so I would have to hire somebody to move me out. I would have to pay for a truck to move my things. I would have to have a deposit once again for the power and gas and water, garbage, sewer, things like that. I would have to pay first, last, and security and find some place that would allow me to live with my 4 cats. Mental illness are health conditions involving changes in emotion, thinking, or behavior, or a combination of these. Mental illness can be associated with distress and or problems functioning in social, work, or family activities. More than 1 in 5 adults in the U.S. has a diagnosed mental disorder. 1 in 20 adults has a serious mental illness. 1 in 6 adults has a substance use disorder, including alcohol use disorder. Mental health involves effective functioning in daily activities, resulting in being able to keep a job or finish a task when it's required. Productive activities such as in work, school, or caregiving. Healthy relationships. The ability to adapt to change and cope with adversities. Yeah, so many people can't do that. You say, well, move in with your son. Well, my son also has a problem with mental illness and drug abuse. Many people who have a mental illness do not want to talk about it. But mental illness is nothing to be ashamed of. Or having a family member, or several family members like I do, having mental conditions. Mental health conditions are treatable, and we are continuously expanding our understanding of how the human brain works. And treatment are available to help people successfully manage mental health conditions, but they have to stick with it. Mental illness does not discriminate. It can affect anyone regardless of your age, gender, where you live, your income, social status, race, your ethnicity, religion, spirituality, and sexual orientation, background, or other aspects of cultural identity. While mental illness can occur at any age, 3/4 of all mental illness begins by the age of 24. Mental illness may take many forms. Some are mild, only interfere in limited ways with daily life, such as some phobias, abnormal fears. Other mental health conditions are so severe that a person may need care in a hospital. Medications designed to treat mental disorders aren't as straightforward as pills like for your blood pressure or high cholesterol or things like that. It often takes a trial and error approach to find the right combination of medication and to talk to therapies to relieve your ongoing symptoms. So what do you do when a person has mental problems but they refuse to get mental help? Well, I did what I could, and I shut off my daughter's phone and shut off financially supporting her with her bills. Addiction and mental health are definitely 2 sides of the same coin. They are frequently linked to one another, so one might lead to the other. People with mental health issues like depression, anxiety, or PTSD, for instance, are more inclined to self-medicate with drugs or alcohol. Additionally, those who struggle with drug or alcohol addiction are more susceptible to mental health issues. This is what my son does. He does self-medication with marijuana. People who are struggling with their mental health may use drugs or alcohol to sedate themselves or get relief from uncomfortable symptoms. Alcohol and drugs can cover up or temporarily relieve emotional suffering, anxiety, or sadness. However, Self-medication has the potential to start a cycle of addiction and dependence. Many people who battle with addiction also have mental health concerns. This condition is referred to as a co-occurring disorder or dual diagnosis. Addiction can cause or intensify the symptoms of mental illness. Existence of a mental illness can raise the likelihood of substance abuse. If mental illness runs in your family, your genetic makeup may also make you more likely to use drugs and alcohol. This was suggested by a new research from the Washington University in St. Louis. Their research shows that if someone is genetically predisposed towards having mental illness, they are also likely prone to use illicit and illicit substances and develop problematic usage patterns. So, yeah, I don't know where I'm going to move. I got 30 days to save up the money. Ha ha, good luck with that. Yeah, thank you very much for your support. There has been people that have been supporting me here on YouTube. And I don't want to walk back into another problem. I don't want to do that. But yet I want to stay here close enough to my grandchildren so I can be a support of them. So thank you for listening. Like I said, we shouldn't be ashamed if we do have family members that have mental problems. It should be openly discussed more, I think. And I think we need more mental health facilities. Evidently, Medicaid pays for some mental health. I don't know how hard that is to get help, but I guess they provide about 24% of those that do require it. And we need more mental health facilities. What are your thoughts? You know, this attack there on Bourbon Street, this guy was an American citizen, and he had family who probably did realize he had mental problems. I don't know. So, what are your thoughts? Put your comments down below. Thank you very much. Please stay safe, and I hope the new year goes better. God bless you all. Bye.